So, who is Elyana? Now, obviously, the straightforward answer that most people would come to is, it's the gender bent version of you, like Sonica or one of the other, like, like altered variations of one of the main cast kind of thing. And yeah, you'd be right. If you wanted to go a little step further and say she's a cousin or sister, you'd also technically be right. Because when I first made her, or had her made, she was literally just female Elyon. She had multiple outfits, like a nice blue dress. Obviously, she had like a Hooters inspired outfit, which you can see right here. And she even had just like multiple, oh, when I say multiple, she had like a few different designs. Obviously, some of them look more akin to me, but then some of them are a bit more accentuated, like, longer hair, earrings, things I'm typically not seen wearing. But then over time, even like obviously as Alex is known to be female, she too had when the artist was making her at the time, had her own, I guess you could say, gender bent version. And he had his own art. So eventually she sold them as two different characters, Alex and Alexis, in a sense. So he eventually became his own character because my friend bought both of them, and with his AU, he basically made them brother and sister, separated them like that, and gave them their own backstories, personalities, etc., etc., etc. Now, what does this have to do with Elyana? So, when he included Elyon into his universe, he asked about her. He was like, "Well, you know, who is she? Like, is she just like a family member, or is she just like gender bent Elyon?" So I he kind of put me on the spot there. So I was like, she was, but I can give her a new backstory. Give me a second. And this was how we were just, playing around a Fortnite as it goes. And that's usually where most of our like creative AU discussions pop up, where we just start talking about anything and everything. So at one point during the discussion, I started thinking to myself, and I was like, huh, you know what? That's a good question. So I started like thinking about it in my head. I was like, I don't want her too drastically different. I want her to share some similarities to him, but at the same time, I like the idea of her being like another like ne'er do well. Like she's breaking the law, but she's not like doing it maliciously. So she's more of an active like crime breaker. So I thought about it, and I was like, okay, should be like a live streamer, but she'll also be like a smuggler. Like she'll deliver goods that you're not supposed to get or see, kind of like a bootlegger of sorts. Like she doesn't deal in drugs or anything, but it's like you want guns, I can get you the guns. You want this, I can help you move this. And while she does it, she just streams, but she does it from like a very special camera that's constantly changing its like trajectory, so it's harder for her to track down, which for obvious reasons makes her kind of infamous, and also it's a thing of like, yeah, they're gonna try to arrest her if they find her, but it's hard for them to find her, and obviously because she's known to be able to move around and get stuff, she literally never has to like walk out in the open. Like she doesn't have to go to the store to pick up groceries. She can have it delivered under the table, kind of stuff, as fresh as any kind of produce. And so how the story goes is, at least when it came to when she first met Alex, male version, of course, it became a thing of fascination with her. She saw him, he was doing his edgy, moody persona, and so she kind of just looked at it like, let's see if I can get a rise out of this person. When she's not on camera, she like when she is on camera, she's very performative. She kind of just like it acts extra, kind of like a YouTube persona of sorts. However, when she's not on camera, she's a bit more relaxed. and even like a little bit playful, but she's a lot more toned down. She doesn't bring the same level of energy. So it got to a point where she was just like, you know what, I'm gonna keep messing with this guy because why not? But he kind of looked at it in the sense of like, I wonder how long it's gonna take me before I lose my cool and shoot this person in the face. And that's kind of how their quote unquote relationship started. Him being an angry, violent, vengeful kind of person, and her just being like, I'm gonna troll him, chat. Let's see how this goes. And so they eventually became not even no, a couple would be weird with them. They just became involved with one another. And also, because of her job, she's able to get him stuff that he could use for his stuff. Because I'm pretty sure he's also part of a criminal empire. Because, of course, he is. The way my friend writes all of his characters, they're all part of criminal organizations at some point. I don't think any of them have done a legit thing in their life. Like, you never find one of them that's just like, oh yeah, this person works at the grocery store. This person serves coffee. This person like helps set up children's birthday parties. It's like, no, no, they smuggle drugs in the balloons that they pass around to the kids. It's like, wow, that's dark. Okay, but it's engaging. That's just I like the idea of that too. It's like it's literally the equivalent of like flirting with danger. Is how I looked at it with them. And quite frankly, I enjoy just seeing them interact because between the two of them, when you look at them, it's like it's kind of not wholesome. It's too fucked up to be wholesome, but it's more like engaging in a friend. Like it's like watching two people that like each other. They don't really say it, except one of them is very prone to shooting people in the face, and then the other one is more along the lines of, actually, no, it's funny. She's not even like a fighter like main story Elyana is. She's scrappy, like more like she can break holds and grabs, and can like like she can rock someone's shit because her version of a weapon, I gave her one of those billy clubs. Except it's more like an electric based billy club. Like you crank it and it just extends a little bit and goes and it's like a shock baton, but it's a billy club. And she can use that to like break someone's jaw and seize up their whole body. But then I gave her a few other things too, because again, she doesn't have the same level of like tech like in the gauntlets that Elyon would. So I gave her like obviously like flashbangs, smoke grenades, small, but on a smaller scale. It's mostly just to disorient people so she can run. And instead of like a grapple line, she has a like a extended claw. Like think of it like, yeah, like a cane of sorts, but it's like a miniature rake, but attack. It's basically just a big metal claw that she uses to climb stuff. And she, like I said, it's strong enough that she can stab it through like other metals, but it's also like angled that way that it has like kind of like a hook shape on them where it like helps her like latch on to stuff. Again, like she's always on the move, so she doesn't really settle down. However, she does have a beach house. Off the grid, of course, it's under it's under like a pseudonym, so typically you're not gonna know it's her. Like I think the name is something like um Pansy or something. Like it's something simple like that, where it's just off the grid. So it's like she just chills there every now and again. Cause she does make a good chunk of money because it's one of those things of like obviously most websites wouldn't just promote a criminal. So the website she's on is it's not the dark web, it's not that bad, but it's like it's it's very loose with the rules where it's like, look, as long as what it says on here in this specific like criteria rules is if she's technically not physically hurting anybody, then it's fine because she's not directly doing anything with the weapons or anything she's going off of. And because she doesn't typically attack anybody unless it's for self-defense, they justify it and keep her on, which typically should land them into some legal water, but they got some good lawyers, so. But how it works is usually when she streams, she'll send the videos out after she's done because she can't really. The problem with live streaming is that they're going to constantly try to pinpoint it and they would get on the company's ass for it for not showing where she's at, which is why it's one of those things of like she sends them in the mail. And then when she does live stream, it's usually like from like her own hidden spot where it's like, okay, look, because at that point, then she's not actively doing her job, so technically no one is getting hurt. And that's kind of the point. She frustrates the hell out of the police, but she has fun with it, which I think is just a real treat, you know? And plus, I just like her I just like her long hair. It's such a good design for it. It's so good. I love it so much. Like it's beautiful. Now that I think about it though, I should give her some other stuff to work with. Because again, like I said, she doesn't really have any like stuff where she's like around other gender bent variations of my characters. But I should give her some more stuff. Not necessarily like a new fighting style. I mean like find the kind of car she would drive. Ooh, maybe put it together some more outfits here and there. Ooh, I could probably get a commission of her taking out Alex. Yeah, I feel like she would have to ask him out because it definitely wouldn't be going the other way. That boy is way too in his own head to pursue her. Ooh, I could have her like a Carmen San Diego kind of disguise too. Options for later. Hmm. Maybe some new makeup.